Hey, beautiful day for math. We are going to part 2 of our chapter 7, lesson 4. And we are dealing with similar shapes again. To get a similar shape through transformations, you always need a dilation, right? Dilation changes the size of a shape. So to get similar shapes, which are the same shape, different sizes, to get that different size, you need a dilation. Anytime you have similar shapes, a dilation was used to get from one to the other. So let's look at this example. It tells you right off the bat that these two shapes are similar, right? It says quadrilateral WXYZ is similar to quadrilateral ABCD. Remember, the order matters, so we know that the order of the name shows you which parts correspond. So W corresponds with A, X corresponds with B, Y corresponds with C, and so on. And you can see also that they show you with these arcs which corners, which angles correspond. Now, we are not concerned about the angles. We're more concerned about the side lengths today. Since they told us that these shapes are similar, we know two things about the shapes already. We know the corresponding angles are congruent, and we know the corresponding side lengths are, can you guess it? They are proportional. So they make equal fractions. Now we're going to use that information to help us find missing measurements. So if you look at this shape here, you see a missing measurement right here. It says M, it doesn't give you a number. Can we find that? Can we find that missing measure? One way to do it is to find the multiplier. Find the multiplier. So we call that multiplier the scale factor. We want to know what we're going to multiply 12 by to get n. We're wondering, times what? Times what? I should do a dot here because we already have a bunch of x's, so that's a dot, a multiplication dot, and it says times what? That thing that we multiply by to get that other side length is called our scale factor. Well, how do we find that? Well, we look at two other corresponding sides and we ask ourselves, well, what was that? What did we have to multiply the 10 by? The 10 by to get 15. Multiply by what to get 15? So 10 times what is 15? How do we get that? 10 times what? Well, you can think of it like kind of like an equation that we can solve. 10 times, we'll put k as our scale factor, equals 15. 10 times what is 15? Well, to solve that, we would just divide by 10, divide by 10. And that gives us the scale factor of, divide it on a calculator or just do it mentally, comes to 1.5. So we know we originally wanted to figure out, all right, well, how are we going to find m? Well, since 12 corresponds with m, since this side corresponds with m, right, we want to figure out, well, what's the scale factor? What would we have to multiply that by to get m? We figure that out by finding another pair of corresponding sides and finding the scale factor between that, and then using it, right? We found that scale factor here. We're going to use it and put it in for this question mark in orange. So we're going to do, instead, now that we have the scale factor, we're going to say, well, 12 times 1.5. So we found the scale factor using corresponding sides that we know, and then we use that scale factor to multiply by the 12 to get our unknown. So that comes to, this is going to find us m, that's going to give us 18. All right, so m equals 18. How did we do that again? We just figured out the scale factor between the two shapes by comparing the two corresponding sides that we knew, the 10 and the 15. All right, so that is one way to do it. That's one way to do it, is by finding the scale factor and using it to multiply. Here they have it written in their own way. Okay, find the scale factor. And it's important that you find it in the right order. They say find it from quadrilateral ABCD to quadrilateral WXYZ. Why do they want to do it from the ABC one to the WXYZ one? Well, because of this first arrow that we drew. We're trying to get from 12 to the M, right? We're starting here and we're moving to this one because of where our unknown is. That unknown there, all right? That unknown there determines which direction we should do and what way we set up our fraction here. So we're getting our scale factor, and they did 15 divided by 10, just like we eventually did 15 divided by 10, right? And got the 1.5. Just did a little differently. All right? And then, of course, they used that scale factor here. They did 3 over 2 times 12. I just did 1.5 times 12. So you can read through this example to help you. Now, the other way, and the way I think is actually the easiest, is to set up a proportion. I like to start with the unknown. All right, start with the unknown when you're writing your proportion. A proportion is just two equal fractions written in with an equal sign in between them. All right, so I start with the unknown, and then I put underneath it the the side that corresponds with the unknown. Side that corresponds with the unknown. All right, so I make my first fraction like that. I just get the unknown and the side that corresponds with it. That's my first fraction. Right? Then over here, I just find another corresponding pair. All right, that's another corresponding pair from the shape above. So like we have these guys here, they correspond, right? You just want to make sure that the fractions are written in the same order. The M and the 15 both come from the same shape, and the 12 and the 10 both come from the same shape. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to do the cross products. So that means we're going to multiply the 10 by the M and put it there, and the 12 by the 15 and put it there. Then we have an equation, and we solve by dividing by 10 on both sides. And we get that answer of M equals 18. So that is the lesson. All right, you can choose which way you like to do it. You can either use the scale factor method or you can do the proportion method. I suggest the proportion method. It seems a lot easier to me. Good luck, and hopefully, one of these methods will work for you.